Hey folks, it's Nick Granville. So today I thought what I'd do is discuss what I'm going to do to prepare for tonight's gig. I'm playing Hashigo Zaki, so if you guys are in Wellington, do come down to the gig. I'm playing with Jacob Randall and Leo Cogini, and we're going to play keys, bass with the left-hand keys, drums and guitar trio. But we're playing kind of funky groove music. So I thought, you know, I talked about how to cram for a gig. Well, in this case, I don't have to cram for the gig. It's my gig. It's my trio, my stuff. I call the shots in terms of what tunes we're going to play, all that sort of stuff. So I thought maybe I'll discuss kind of how I prepare for that. So the first thing I do, number one, is I always make sure I'm warmed up. I've already done that this morning. I've done a video on how I warm up. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Hopefully it's helpful to you. And basically, it's the three steps. So I do that chromatic pattern of some sort. Then I do some rhythm guitar to get my right hand going. And then I do some improvising. And so the improvising part is kind of what I'm going to talk about today, because tonight's gig is an improv thing. Now, every gig, the way I prepare is different. If I'm doing a gig where it's more classical and I have to play, set parts, then the way I prepare for that is very different from the way I'll prepare for, say, a gig like an improvised thing like this, or a big band will be different again. Orchestra's different again. Depends on what it is. So, tonight's gig, funk music. I know one tune that we play a lot is Stevie Wonder's I Wish. And there's a riff in that tune that goes... and then it repeats. So one thing I do when I'm preparing for my gig like this is I'll work on that riff, and I'm going to put a metronome on. I've got a metronome down here on my iPad, and I'll put a metronome on, and I just kind of start exploring stuff, right? I'm kind of looking for new territories with this. When I find something that's interesting, that's the thing I kind of take out of it all, and then I'll kind of develop that. I'll show you what I mean. I'll do it now. So right there, I kind of stumbled upon something, which was this idea, which actually comes from the Stevie Wonder tune, Don't You Worry About a Thing, right, in the chorus. It goes... right? So I'm just going to explore that, E flat minor to E major. So there's an idea. Minor 9 to minor 6, 9. So there I took the 2 chord instead of the 1 chord, and then I went to the E major but with the 2nd in the bass instead of... right? Let's keep going down that track. So there's an idea to explore, right? So what I'm getting into there, and I just stumbled across this, and then the passing chord, right? And then explore that for a little while. When I stumble across a pattern like that, in the E flat minor, and then I'm going to try and take it through the chord change, and then there's so many different ways you could kind of get into that. So you see, what I'm doing is I'm really kind of riffing on an idea, which is a really old school kind of jazz approach to stuff, sort of riffing on an idea. So I'm taking an idea and I'm kind of just improvising for a little bit, and then I'm, you know, getting my brain into that kind of gear. And then I start looking for something, right? And once I find something that's interesting, then I'll go down that path for a little while. I find this is a really good way to prepare, because it's mentally preparing you as much as physically, you know, your fingers and all of that, preparing you. I find, especially with my trio, like, we go a lot of places, and I never tell the guys what we're going to play. I just start playing tunes. I know they know all the tunes. That's why I book them, because I know they know the tunes that I call. So the idea is that I just start playing something, and then we go. So something like E flat minor like that, it could be I Wish. It could be Don't You Worry About a Thing. I know they know that. So we might go into... It could be any number of songs. It could be, I've played that Michael Jackson thing, the, what's the name of it? Billie Jean. So I've played that over that thing, and sometimes we'll medley all these together, sometimes we'll go into new tempos, new keys. And one of the challenges that I like about it is whatever key we're in, I try and play the tunes in that key, right? Even if they're not in that key, like Billie Jean is in F sharp minor, it should be here. Right? But sounds okay, but sounds better. So then I'll kind of go in that place. So the whole thing with that trio, as I mentioned, we're playing funk music, but it's really improvised funk music. I don't tell the guys what I want to play. Everything's communicated musically. We go in different directions. Sometimes I'll play different chord progressions. The keyboard player, Leo, he'll start putting in certain chord progressions. And you've just got to use your ears and kind of go with it. So I like to, preparing for it, it's preparing to be able to take the music wherever it might go. So I like to explore what are the possibilities, right? How many possible places can I take that riff from I Wish that I played before? You know, take that riff and then go, okay, what if I played as disco octaves like that? It's essentially those two chords, right? So as you can see, there's a heap of different places you can take it, and I just kind of explore it, and that's one of the big things I do when I'm preparing for a gig of this nature. I'll take this guitar, I'll take my Fractal Fm9, which is down there in the expression pedal, and a little powered speaker, and that's kind of the rig, because I need a lot of different sounds in this. So I'll have a clean sound like that, I'll have a boost sound like this. Just turn that down a touch. So that's the same sound, just put a clon sort of thing in front of it. I have my Marshall sound, JTM 45. And you might think, well, in a funk context, why are you going to use a JTM 45? We go there, like, it might be... You know, and I'm going to go into the riff from Jesus Christ Superstar. And then my lead tone, which is this. BB preamp in front of a clean Fender amp. A little bit of delay. This is a sound I've been using quite a bit lately, if I can get to it. This is a chorus sound with a multi-delay. I dig it. For when I want to try and be Michael Landau. A wah-wah sound. Now I don't use a wah-wah in terms of one you have to move. That's just an auto wah-wah. I don't want to take a extra pedal. I find that's... That gets the point across as much as I want it to. A tremolo, which is a sound I use a lot. It's got a little bit of dirt on it. And then a rotary sound, which I actually use a lot. Really good for rhythm parts, and I have a slow speed set up on that, so if I hold it down, which is real pretty, especially for a ballad or something. Yeah, and then I can build different sounds on top of those, but those are kind of the core sounds I do. So I make sure they're all working, I check all my gear, new strings are going to go on this, 11 to 49 elixirs, which I've been using for ages. I check all my cables, I've got a cable tester. I bring backups of cables, just basic stuff. I don't tend to bring a lot of backup gear when I do gigs in town, mostly because, you know, it's a 20-minute drive home. If worst comes to worst, I can jump in the car, come back here and grab something, and then back down to the gig. If it's a big gig, I will. You know, a big outdoor stage or something, like on New Year's Eve, we played the waterfront. Some people said there was 20,000 people there, so I can't leave the stage. I can't go and get some gear, whatever. So I bring a backup guitar, I bring a backup for the modeler. I use this Laney thing that's a Ironheart. It's basically an amp in a box modeler type thing. It's got DI out, it's got amp out, so you can go to a speaker, whatever. I'll show that sometime. That's my backup, just in case. I bring spare strings, although I don't have time to change strings, so I bring a spare guitar. Just make sure I've got everything so that I can do the gig no matter what happens. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. It's kind of been longer than usual. But remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate all those who have subscribed, and I appreciate those who have stuck around with me for a while. I do this every day now, as you know. I'm really enjoying doing this, and I hope you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out. Hate that word content, but you know what I mean. I'm putting out videos, and I hope you dig it. I'll be back tomorrow. I thought tomorrow what I do, I'm going to bring my GoPro and get some footage from the gig. I'll post that. Maybe I'll post some, and thought what I'll do is I'll talk about some new stuff tomorrow that I haven't covered. There's a couple of questions there that people have had that I think would be good for everybody to know that stuff. So, so yeah, tune in tomorrow. And again, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Take care. Cheers.